One question, find the forces in the members of truss as shown in the diagram.
We have to find out unknown forces in the members and we are going to use the joint method. We will apply some basic rules and these rules I have mentioned in the table. You have to note down this table and this rule is applicable for each and every question. Now first column is for direction. For horizontal force when direction is towards right hand side and for vertical force when direction is upward, then we have to use positive sign. Then if the answer for this summation of all horizontal forces or summation of all vertical forces is positive, then the nature of force in that member is tension. And now how to show the arrow? So suppose this point is known as joint, then we have to show arrow in the outward direction from this joint whenever the answer is positive and nature is tension. Now we will move to the next. When the horizontal force is towards left hand side and vertical force in the downward direction, then we have to use the negative sign for that force. Now when the calculation summation of all horizontal forces or summation of all vertical forces answer is negative, then the nature is known as compression. And for that nature, how to show arrow? So we have to show the direction of arrow towards the joint. So this point is known as joint and we have to show the direction towards the joint. So this table is important and we will apply these basic rules to the answer. Now what is the first step? First step is to find out the joint with two unknown forces. So in this question, if we observe all the joints, then we will find out the number of forces related to each joint. Now we will first move to the point A. Now point A, the members are hinged at point A. So reaction can be in any direction because the members are free to rotate about this point A. So we will show here horizontal component and vertical component of the reaction at point A. So I will show here, this is the horizontal component and this is the vertical component. Now these reaction forces are unknown. And the members related to A are A, B as well as AF. So there are total 4 unknown forces. So we cannot use this joint A. Now we will move to the next joint B. Now for this B, BA, BF, BD, BC, there are 4 unknown forces. So we cannot use this joint B. Now for this C, there is roller support. So we have to show reaction perpendicular to the surface. So this support is on vertical fixed surface. So we will show the reaction which is perpendicular to the vertical surface, that is the horizontal, and here is the reaction at point C, we will say RC. Now if we observe C, then there is CB, then CD and RC. That means there are 3 unknown forces. So we cannot use the joint C. Now if we move to the next joint D, then at point D there is DC, DB, DF and DE. That means 4 unknown forces. And if we move to the joint E, then there is ED, EF. These 2 unknown forces and 19.9 Newton in vertically downward direction force is mentioned in the question. So we have to use this joint E. Now if we observe, there are inclined members. So we have to find out angle theta which is made by this inclined line with the horizontal. So here is member BC. So I will mention here angle theta. Then here is member BF. So BF is making angle theta with BD and BF is also making an angle theta with this horizontal AF. Then here DE. So this is making angle theta with EF. So this angle theta we have to find out. Now if we observe the triangle, then in triangle CBD, in triangle BDF, in triangle BAF, and in triangle FDE. In all this triangle, tan of theta is equal to opposite side by nearby side. That means opposite side is 4 and nearby side is 3. So this angle theta formula is same, because if we observe all these triangles, then 4 by 3 ratio is there, and therefore theta is equal to 53.13 degree. We will take joint E with two unknown forces in the members. Now we will follow one common rule to all the joints. We have to show the direction of these unknown forces always in the outward direction. So this rule we have to follow for all these questions related to truss by joint method. So we will take the joint E, then here is the member ED. So for member ED we will show direction of force in the outward direction FED. Then next is member EF. We have to show outward direction FEF. And this is the known force and direction is mentioned, so we have to show as it is 19.9 Newton. Now this is the inclined force, so we will resolve into two components, vertical component and horizontal component. Now how to show its value? So we know that angle theta is 45 degree. So this horizontal component we can say FED cos of theta, and here FED sin of theta, and here is the angle theta. Now we will apply the rule of equilibrium. Summation of all horizontal forces is equal to 0. Summation of all vertical forces is equal to 0. So one vertical force value is given. So we will first take summation of all vertical forces is equal to 0. For upward direction use positive sign. For downward direction use negative sign. So FED sin theta minus 19.9 is equal to 0. So we have to calculate FED. So it is equal to plus 25 Newton. So for this positive answer, nature is tension, and we have to mention in the answer, that is tension in the bracket. Now at the same time we will show the direction of arrow. Now here is FED. So we have to show direction of arrow in the outward direction from this joint E. So here is the joint E, and I will show arrow in the outward direction, and nature is tension. Now we will move to the next. Summation of all horizontal forces is equal to 0. Now direction is towards left hand side. So for left hand side use negative sign. So minus FED cos theta minus FEF is equal to 0. So when we solve this, we will get FEF is equal to minus 15 Newton. So for negative answer, and nature is compression. So we will use here which is equal to 15 Newton, and nature is compression. Now in this FEF we have to show arrow towards the joint. So we will show direction towards the joint E. Now we will move to the next joint. Now we have to select the joint with two unknown forces. So if we observe here, there is no any such joint with two unknown forces, because if we observe this joint F, then here is one force is known that we have calculated, but there are other three unknown forces with three members. So there is no such a joint. So how to find out the next joint? So we have to find out these unknown reactions. Unknown reaction at point A, unknown reaction at point C. So we will consider the equilibrium of this whole system. So when we consider this, then we have to take summation of all horizontal forces is equal to 0, and summation of all vertical forces is equal to 0. So this is the horizontal force. So I will say HA, because horizontal force at point A, and here vertical force I will say VA. So how to balance this? So HA, that is plus HA minus RC is equal to 0. And for vertical force here upward direction, that is plus VA minus 19.9 is equal to 0. Vertical force 19.9 Newton is known. So we will first take summation of all vertical forces is equal to 0 and therefore VA is equal to 20 Newton. Now if we take summation of horizontal forces is equal to 0, then this HA and RC both are unknown. So we have to first find out any one force. Now when the system is in equilibrium, then the moment of all the forces about any point, or we can say moment center, is equal to 0. So we will take summation of moment of all the forces about point A is equal to 0. Then this HA and VA acts at point A. So these two forces will become 0. And how to find out the moment? That means force multiplied by perpendicular distance from this moment center. Now when we take this RC, then this RC multiplied by perpendicular distance. So if we extend this line of action of force, then from point A this total distance is 4 plus 4, that is 8 meter. Now if I move the compass about point A in the direction of RC, then here anti-clockwise direction, so we will consider negative sign. So minus RC multiplied by 8. Now the next force is 19.9. If I move the compass about point A in the direction of 19.9, then here is clockwise direction. So we will take positive sign. That is plus 19.9 into perpendicular distance. That is 3 plus 3, that is 6. So RC is equal to, so when we solve this we will get 15 Newton. Now we will apply this next rule, summation of all horizontal forces is equal to 0. So both are opposite in direction. So HA is equal to RC and that is equal to 15 Newton. Now we can take the next joint. So if we observe this joint A, then HA and VA are known. So we have to show as it is. So this HA is positive, VA is positive. So for positive sign we have to use direction towards right hand side and upward direction. So we will show here 15 Newton and 20 Newton. Now this joint A is with two unknown forces. So we have to show this, and as per the common rule we have to show direction of these unknown forces in the outward direction from this joint. So I will mention here joint A. So here is the unknown forces. So for member AF, unknown force is FAF, and for member AB, unknown force FAB. Now from this diagram we will apply the rule. Summation of all horizontal forces is equal to 0. So both are in the direction towards right hand side. So we will say plus FAF plus 15 is equal to 0. So FAF is equal to minus 15 Newton. So here answer is negative. So we will write here 15 Newton and compression. Nature is compression for negative sign. Then FV, that is summation of all vertical forces, is equal to 0. So direction is upward direction for both the force. So plus FAB plus 20 is equal to 0. So FAB is equal to minus 20. So here again nature is compression. Now we will show arrow at the same time. So FAF, so here is the member AF, and for compression nature, direction of arrow towards joint A. And in the same way for FAB, for compression nature, we have to show direction towards joint A. Now we will move to the next joint C. If we observe, there is known value of RC we have calculated, and there is two unknown forces, that is the force in the member CB and force in the member CD. Now we will show here the direction of RC as it is, that is direction is towards left hand side, and for the unknown forces in the member we will show direction in the outward direction. Now this CB we will show here FCB, and this force is CD. Now this CB is inclined. So we will resolve into two components, horizontal and vertical. So we know that this member CB is making an angle theta with the horizontal. So how to show this? FCB cos of theta, and here FCB sin of theta. Now we will apply the equilibrium principle. So summation of all horizontal forces is equal to 0. So if we observe direction is towards left hand side, so we have to use negative sign, minus FCB cos theta minus RC, that is minus 15, is equal to 0. So FCB is equal to minus 25 Newton. So we will write here 25 Newton and nature is compression. Now we will apply the next rule, summation of all vertical forces is equal to 0. So if we observe for the downward direction, we have to use negative sign. So minus FCB sin theta minus FCD is equal to 0. Now here FCB, we have to use the previous answer in terms of negative sign, because we have considered here the direction for all the members, that is the same direction, outward direction. So we have to use this negative sign. So minus FCD, minus as it is, and instead of FCB we will use here minus 25 sin theta is equal to 0. So this step is important. Now when we simplify this and when we calculate FCD, then here is plus 20 Newton. So here nature is tension. Now we will show with the help of arrow. So FCB, so here is joint C and nature is compression. So for compression we have to show arrow towards the joint. So I will show here. And next is CD. So for member CD, nature is tension, and for tension we have to show arrow away from joint C. So we will show here. Now we will move to the next joint. If we observe the joint B, then we have calculated force in member BA and BC. So joint B with two unknown forces in the members BD and BF. So we can select here joint B. So we have to show the direction in all members in the outward direction. So this is the common rule we will follow. Now for the inclined members, we will resolve into two components, horizontal component and vertical component. Now we will mention the forces. So here is the FBC. Now it is making an angle theta with horizontal. So FBC cos of theta and FBC sin of theta. Now next is FBD. Then next is BF. So FBF. So here it is making an angle theta with horizontal. So FBF cos theta, FBF sin theta, and FBA. So for vertical force, FBA. Now we will consider the equilibrium for this free body diagram. So we will first take summation of all vertical forces is equal to 0. Now why to take summation of all vertical forces? Because if we observe, this BD is unknown as well as this BF is also unknown, and this BD is horizontal. So if we take the summation of all vertical forces is equal to 0, then this vertical force BA is known, FBC sin theta is known, and there is only one unknown force. So now as per the direction we will write here. So for downward direction use negative sign, minus FBA minus FBF sin theta, and for upward direction use positive sign, plus FBC sin theta is equal to 0. Now we will put the value. So for BA, so if we observe BA, nature is compression and force is with negative sign. So we will take minus as it is, and instead of FBA we will put minus 20. Then minus FBF sin theta, and for FBC. So if we observe for FBC, then nature is compression and force is with negative sign. So we will take plus sign as it is, and instead of FBC we will use minus 25. Sin theta is equal to 0. Now we will simplify this. So when we simplify this, we will get this answer FBF as a 0. That means this FBF force does not exist. So this component is 0. BF component is 0. So I will just mark here this. That is the cross sign. So I will make here cross sign with the help of red marker. Because it does not exist, its a value is 0. Now we will move next. Summation of all horizontal forces is equal to 0. So it is not necessary to use this because its a value is 0. So we will simply take here as per the sign plus FBC cos theta plus FBD is equal to 0. Now again if we observe for this BC, nature is compression. So for BC we will use answer with negative sign. So plus FBD plus minus 25 cos theta is equal to 0 and FBD is equal to plus 50 Newton. So here answer with positive sign. So nature is tension. So we have to show this. Nature is tension. Now we have to show this tension in this BD. So tension, that means we have to show arrow away from this joint B. So I will show this. Now there is the member with unknown force is FD. So we will take the joint F and we will show the direction of unknown forces in the outward direction. So related to F, here FE, then here is FA, and this unknown force is FD. Now we have to find out this FFD. So we have to take summation of all vertical forces is equal to 0. Now for this upward direction we will take FD. So there is no any other vertical force is equal to 0. So we can say that FD member there is force is 0. So again I will cross here, make the cross mark because the magnitude is 0. Now we have to prepare the table as per the answer. So we have to first take members and we have to take all the members. Then the magnitude. So we have calculated the magnitude of force for each member and then the nature of the member. So depends on the sign of this force magnitude, we have to write here the nature. So no need to give here the sign, but it is important to mention the nature. Now we will complete this diagram also. Now if we observe for member AB, magnitude is 20 Newton and nature is compression. So for compression, direction is towards the joint. So we will complete this because for this member AB, compression nature is there. So we have to take the direction, that is we have to show the arrow towards the joint B also. So I will show here. Then for BC, nature is compression, magnitude is 25. So I will complete here. For CD, it is tension. So we have to show the arrow. Then DE, it is 25 Newton tension. So we have to show arrow away from this joint T. Then EF, it is 15 Newton and compression nature. So for compression we have to show arrow towards E. Then for AF, compression nature 15 Newton. So for AF, for compression nature we have to show arrow. Then BD, nature is tension. So we have to show arrow away from the joint D. Now for this BF and DF, magnitude is 0. So there is no any nature. So we have to make here cross mark, or it is not necessary to make the cross mark, but no any nature. So this table and this diagram is the final answer.